Do you ever feel stuck? Like you're caught in a loop, repeating the same actions day after day, wondering if things will ever change? Maybe you find yourself staring out the window during your commute, lost in thought, questioning how you ended up here. Each morning, you wake up, go through the motions, brushing your teeth, making coffee, getting ready for the day. It's almost automatic, like you're on autopilot, barely noticing the world around you. Deep down, you remember the dreams you once had, the goals you wrote down, the vision boards you created, the plans you made for a better future. You started out with so much hope and excitement, believing you could achieve anything. But then, life happens. Responsibilities pile up. You rush out the door, juggle work and family, and try to keep up with everything. It's overwhelming, and sometimes it feels like you're barely keeping your head above water. Work deadlines, family obligations, and the constant buzz of notifications make it hard to focus on what really matters. The stress builds, and finding time for yourself seems impossible. We've all been there, feeling stretched thin, wishing for just a moment of peace. Still, we set goals with the best intentions. We promise ourselves that this time will be different, that we'll finally stick to our resolutions and make real progress. We want to eat healthier, exercise more, learn new skills, or spend more time with loved ones. We imagine a version of ourselves who is happier, healthier, and more fulfilled. But then, our routines pull us back. The comfort of old habits, the lure of the couch after a long day, or the temptation to scroll endlessly on our phones, it all adds up, making it hard to break free. We settle for what's easy, even if it doesn't bring us joy or move us closer to our dreams. It's easy to get stuck in a rut, doing what's familiar instead of what's fulfilling. And when we don't see quick results, it's natural to feel discouraged. We start to doubt ourselves, wondering if change is even possible. Sometimes we give up on our goals altogether, thinking they're just too hard or that we're not cut out for success. The cycle repeats, and our dreams fade into the background. But what if I told you that lasting change doesn't require giant leaps? What if the real secret is in the small, steady steps we take every day, no matter how tiny they seem? It's those little actions, drinking more water, reading a few pages, taking a short walk, that add up over time. Consistency, not perfection, is what truly transforms our lives. So if you're ready to break free from the rut, remember, your potential is unlocked one small step at a time. Start today, and watch how your daily choices shape a brighter, more fulfilling future. Imagine this. You decide to improve your fitness. Instead of aiming for a marathon right away, you start by walking for just 10 minutes each day. Seems too easy, right? But that's the beauty of tiny habits. These small changes might seem insignificant at first, but over time they compound into remarkable results. Just like money multiplies with compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. Think of it like steering a ship. A small adjustment to the rudder leads to a big change in direction over miles of ocean. Your habits are like those small adjustments, guiding you towards the life you want. The key is consistency. Choose one small habit and stick with it every single day. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes over weeks, months, and years. We often focus on setting big goals. We want to lose weight, write a book, or get a promotion. Goals are important for direction, but they're not enough. True change comes from building systems, the daily routines and actions that move us towards our goals. Think about it. Two people might have the same goal of running a marathon. One person focuses solely on the goal, while the other builds a system of daily training, proper nutrition, and rest. Who do you think is more likely to succeed? When you focus on the system, the goal takes care of itself. Your daily actions become the building blocks of your success. So instead of fixating on the end result, shift your energy to building a system that supports your goals. Remember, it's not about any single achievement, but the person you become along the way. What if I told you that the most effective way to change your habits is to change your beliefs about yourself? This is where identity-based habits come in. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become. Do you want to be a writer? Then write every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Do you want to be a healthy person? Make healthy choices, one meal at a time. Every time you act in alignment with your desired identity, you reinforce that identity. You start to see yourself as a writer, a healthy person, or whatever you choose. And the more you see yourself that way, the easier it becomes to stick to your habits. Remember, your current actions are simply a reflection of your current identity. To change your actions, start by changing your self-image. Building good habits doesn't have to be hard. In fact, with the right approach, it can feel almost effortless. Many people think that changing their routines requires a huge amount of willpower or motivation, but the truth is, small changes can make a big difference over time. The key is to start with simple steps and build momentum gradually, so you don't get overwhelmed or discouraged. By understanding how habits work, we can actually make them easier to form. Habits are like the building blocks of our daily lives, shaping everything from our health to our productivity. When you know the science behind habits, you can use it to your advantage and set yourself up for success. So let's explore the 4 laws of behavior change. These are simple, actionable steps you can use to create new habits or break old ones. First, make it obvious. For example, if you want to drink more water, just place a full water bottle on your desk where you can't miss it. The more visible and accessible your habit cue is, the more likely you are to follow through. You can also use visual reminders like sticky notes or alarms to keep your goal top of mind. Second, make it attractive. Try pairing something you enjoy with a habit you want to build, like listening to your favorite music while exercising, or watching a show you love while doing chores. When you make the habit enjoyable, you'll look forward to it, and it becomes much easier to stick with. Or maybe rewarding yourself with a healthy treat after a productive work session. Positive reinforcement helps your brain associate the habit with something pleasant, making you want to repeat it. Third, make it easy. Start small. Instead of aiming for a 30-minute workout, begin with 5 minutes. The smaller and simpler the habit, the less resistance you'll feel. Over time, these small actions add up and become second nature. Break down big tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. If a project feels overwhelming, divide it into bite-sized pieces so you can make steady progress without feeling stressed. Consistency is more important than intensity at the beginning. And finally, make it satisfying. When you finish a habit, take a moment to celebrate your achievement, no matter how small it seems. Reward yourself for sticking to your habits. This could be as simple as giving yourself a compliment, enjoying a favorite snack, or taking a short break to relax. Track your progress, celebrate even the small wins, and notice how far you've come. Visual progress, like checking off a calendar or filling in a habit tracker, can be incredibly motivating. And remember to acknowledge your efforts along the way. Reflect on your achievements, no matter how minor, and use them as fuel to keep going. By applying these laws, you can totally transform any desired behavior into a natural part of your life. With patience and consistency, your new habits will become automatic, helping you grow into the person you want to be, one small step at a time. Just as we can use the 4 laws to build good habits, we can actually reverse them to break bad ones. The process is simple in theory, but it does require some intention and planning. Let's walk through how you can flip each law to your advantage. First, make it invisible. This means removing the cues and triggers that prompt your bad habit in the first place. If you don't see it, you're far less likely to do it. For example, if you want to reduce your screen time, try keeping your phone in another room while you work or study. You can also use app blockers to limit your access to distracting apps, or even turn off notifications so you're not constantly tempted. The less visible and accessible your triggers are, the easier it is to avoid falling into old patterns. Second, make it unattractive. This step is all about changing the way you think about your bad habit. Highlight the negative consequences, maybe write down how you feel after indulging, or visualize the long-term downsides. At the same time, focus on the benefits of quitting. Imagine how much better your life could be without that habit, and remind yourself of these positives often. The more you associate your bad habit with negative feelings, the less appealing it becomes. Third, make it difficult. The idea here is to increase the friction between you and your bad habit. The harder it is to do, the less likely you are to follow through. This could mean putting physical obstacles in the way, like locking up snacks or placing the TV remote in another room. You can also remove tempting foods from your pantry, log out of your social media accounts, or even delete certain apps from your phone. By making the process inconvenient, you give yourself more time to reconsider and hopefully make a better choice. Every extra step you add is a chance to pause and reflect. And fourth, make it unsatisfying. This means reducing the reward or pleasure you get from the habit. If you feel regret or disappointment after indulging, take a moment to acknowledge those feelings. Don't ignore them, use them as motivation to change. One powerful way to make a habit unsatisfying is to introduce accountability. Tell a friend or family member about your goal, or use a habit tracker to record your progress. When others are aware of your intentions, or when you see your results in black and white, it's much harder to ignore your slip-ups. This added layer of responsibility can make a huge difference. Breaking bad habits definitely takes time and effort, and setbacks are normal. But by making your bad habits less visible, less attractive, more difficult, and less satisfying, you gradually weaken their hold on you. With patience and persistence, you'll find yourself making better choices and building a healthier, more intentional life. We often rely way too heavily on willpower and motivation, but honestly, our environment plays a much bigger role in shaping our behavior. Imagine trying to eat healthy while you're surrounded by junk food, or trying to focus on work in a cluttered and distracting environment. It's really an uphill battle. Instead of fighting your environment, design it to support your goals. Make healthy choices easier by keeping fruits and vegetables readily available. Create a dedicated workspace that's free from distractions to improve your focus. Remember, you're not weak. You're just responding to your environment. So make your environment work for you, not against you. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to change their habits is striving for perfection. They set these unrealistic expectations and then, well, give up when they inevitably slip up. But here's the secret. Lasting change isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when you really don't feel like it. Don't get discouraged by setbacks. Instead, focus on building a streak of successes, no matter how small. Celebrate each day you stick to your habits. Remember, it's the small, consistent actions that add up to remarkable results over time. You have the power to transform your life, one tiny habit at a time. Don't underestimate the impact of small changes repeated consistently. Start today. Choose one habit, just one small action that you can take every day. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Believe in yourself and your ability to change. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take that step today and start creating the life you've always wanted.